Before we get into how the Greeks built the bodies we still carve in marble, let me ask you something you'll almost certainly get wrong. Why do two men walk into the same gym, run the exact same program, eat the same protein, sleep the same hours, and only one of them grows? One builds slabs of lean, hard muscle. The other spins his wheels for a year and looks the same as the day he started. The answer isn't genetics, and it also isn't effort. It's one thing happening deep inside the body that decides whether your training builds you or quietly eats you alive. Get it right, and muscle comes almost on its own. Get it wrong, and you can train like a man possessed for years and watch your body give you nothing back. The ancient Greeks got it right. And here's the part that should stop you cold. They didn't train less than you. Many of them trained far more, full-time, for months on end. But they trained completely differently. Where the modern man grinds himself flat out every day and calls it dedication, the Greeks cycled hard effort with deliberate rest and treated recovery as part of the work, not a break from it. And 2,500 years later, their statues are still the standard every man in every gym is quietly measuring himself against. So how? How did they build that much muscle? Lean, sharp, every fiber visible, training hard, but in a way almost no one trains today. Subscribe and stay to the end, because the answer comes down to 5 things woven through a single day. And the last one is where the muscle is actually made, the part almost everyone today gets completely wrong. But first, you need to understand what's quietly undoing your work. There's a hormone behind all of it, and it's called cortisol. It's your body's alarm hormone, the one that floods your system the instant it senses a threat. And cortisol has one job in a crisis: find energy, fast, by any means necessary. When the alarm rings loud enough, your body will tear apart its own tissue to fuel the emergency, including muscle. Here's what that means for you, and it's worse than most people realize. Cortisol is what scientists call catabolic, a breaking down hormone. When it's high, it does 2 things at once. First, it actively dismantles muscle, stripping it for parts to burn as fuel. And second, at the very same time, it switches off the body's build pathway, the machinery that turns protein into new muscle. So you lose on both ends, and it gets quieter and more dangerous than a single hard day. Chronic stress, the kind that never lets up, keeps that alarm humming low all day long. Which means the energy and the raw materials that were supposed to go into repairing and growing your body get spent on survival instead. Your body is making a choice every single hour: build or survive, and it will choose survival every time. So picture the man grinding in the gym 7 days a week, stressed at work, barely sleeping, pushing harder and harder. He thinks he's building, but he's actually feeding the one hormone that's undoing everything he does. He's not undertraining. He's trapped in a body that has decided it is not safe to grow. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because the Greeks flipped that switch every single day without ever knowing it existed. And it starts with a hidden number that decides everything. Inside your body, 2 hormones are locked in a tug of war. Testosterone, the great builder, the hormone that drives muscle, strength, and recovery. And cortisol, the breaker. And here's the strange, crucial thing. Almost no one tells you. These 2 are made from the same raw material. They're built from the same source inside the body. So when your system is forced to pump out cortisol all day, it has less left over to make testosterone. The breaker rises and the builder falls. You cannot run both at full power at once. This is why sports scientists measure the ratio between them, because that single number is how you tell whether a body is building or breaking down. It's the same number they watch to catch an athlete who's overtrained, the body tipping into a state where it tears down faster than it builds. So the goal was never simply to chase more testosterone. The real lever, the one the modern world ignores, is to bring cortisol down so that testosterone is finally free to do its work. Lower the breaker, and the builder takes over. The Greeks tipped that balance in their favor every day of their lives, and the way they did it had as much to do with rest and calm as it ever did with training. The first piece was hidden inside how they trained. They followed a system the trainer Philostratus wrote down, a 4-day cycle they called the tetrad. 1 day of short, intense work, 1 day of all-out effort, then a day of rest, then a day of moderate work. Rest wasn't an accident or a weakness in their program. Rest was built into the program. It was a step, as deliberate as any lift, and they understood how to grow strength the patient way. The legend of Milo of Croton, the greatest wrestler of the ancient world, says he built his strength by lifting a newborn calf onto his shoulders and then lifting it again every day as it slowly grew into a full bull. The story can't be literally true, but it tells you exactly what they understood. Add a little stress, then let the body adapt. Add a little more. Adapt again. Never break it. Build it. Because here's the part the modern grind completely misses. The muscle is not built during the workout. The workout is only the signal, the demand. The actual building happens afterward, in recovery, when cortisol falls and testosterone and growth hormone move in to repair the damage and lay down new tissue. Train, then recover, and you grow. But hammer yourself every single day with no real rest, and cortisol never comes down, so the building phase never arrives. The Greeks reached it on purpose, and once the training was done, they did something we treat as optional, and they treated as essential. After every session, a Greek athlete was rubbed down with olive oil and worked over by hand. They called it anatripsis, and it was no luxury. Hippocrates himself wrote about the healing power of rubbing the body, and Philostratus described it as part of proper training. Skilled men called the Elyptes did it systematically, and the sponsors of the games handed out the oil for free because everyone understood it mattered. Then came the baths, warm rooms to loosen the body, and cold water to plunge into after. We now know exactly why that worked. Massage and the simple act of skilled touch lower cortisol and speed the body's recovery. Warm then cold bathing flips your nervous system out of its stressed, fired-up state and into the calm where repair happens. To the Greeks, this was simply the back half of training, as much a part of building the body as the lifting itself. To us, it's the thing we skip because we're busy. They closed every hard session by deliberately switching the alarm off. If you want the whole system the way these men lived it, how to train, recover, eat, and think, as one, it's laid out in the Art of Living Like a Man, linked below. But the deepest thing the Greeks did wasn't done with the body at all. It was done with the mind. Their highest ideal was not aggression, it was sophrosina, a word built from the roots for healthy in mind, meaning balance, self-mastery, soundness of soul. They prized euthymia too, a calm, steady evenness of spirit. To the Greeks, the man who had mastered himself, who carried a settled and quiet mind, was the man worth becoming. And this was not soft philosophy unrelated to the body. Plato and Hippocrates both argued that the body could not truly heal or thrive without a calm mind, and that your physical and mental states were one single system, not two. And modern science has proven them right in a way they could never have measured. Chronically high cortisol doesn't just attack your muscle, it attacks your brain. It wears down the prefrontal cortex, the seat of focus, working memory, and control, which means a stressed man doesn't just recover worse. he performs worse. His focus is scattered, his reaction time is slower, his connection between mind and muscle is dull. He walks into the gym already drained, already maxed out on stress, and trains a flat, sloppy, half-present session, then wonders why nothing's working. The Greeks trained with calm minds, so they trained sharp. We carry the whole weight of the day in with us, and it costs us every rep. Which brings us to the fifth practice, the one that mattered most, and the one we have buried under everything else. Sleep. To the Greeks, sleep was medicine. Hippocrates taught that the body does its healing while you sleep, drawing on its own reserves to repair itself. Their healing temples, the Asclepia, treated the sick by a process built almost entirely around sacred, deep sleep. They laid people down and let the night do the work. And this is where everything we've talked about comes together, because sleep is the anabolic window, the one time the body truly builds. Deep sleep is when growth hormone surges and your muscle is physically rebuilt. It is the construction phase of your entire day. But high cortisol steals it. It breaks up your deep sleep and keeps you shallow and restless. And too little sleep does the reverse just as brutally. It spikes your cortisol the next day and drops your testosterone at the same time. So poor sleep attacks your gains from 3 directions at once. Less growth hormone tonight, more cortisol tomorrow, less testosterone on top of it. Fix your sleep, and the whole engine finally runs the way it's meant to. A rested body is a body that is finally allowed to grow. So step back and see the whole shape of it. The tetrad, with rest built in. The oil and the hands. The calm, mastered mind. The deep, sacred sleep. Not one of these was aimed at more muscle. Every single one of them did the same quiet thing. It brought cortisol down, and it told the body it was safe. And here is the secret you stayed for. The muscle was never built during the workout. The workout is only the demand, the signal, the spark. The muscle is built in the calm that comes after, in the recovery, the rest, the stillness, the sleep, when the breaker finally falls and the builder takes over. And a body still locked in survival mode, still flooded with the stress hormone, never reaches that calm, so it never builds, no matter how hard it trains. The Greeks didn't grow because they suffered more than you. They grew because they recovered, balanced their hormones without ever knowing the word, and let a safe body do the one thing a safe body is built to do: grow. So go back to those 2 men from the start. Same program, same protein, same hours. Only one of them grows. Now you know why. One body was building, the other was breaking. And the difference was never the workout. It was whether the body, underneath it all, felt safe enough to grow. You've been trying to force muscle out of a frightened body. The Greeks never did that. They never fought their bodies into growth. They made it safe for the body to grow, and then they let it. You don't need to punish yourself harder. You need to stop frightening the very body you're trying to build. That's what the ancient way exists to recover. The things we knew for thousands of years and somehow forgot. If this changed the way you'll train tomorrow, you already know what to do